Tonight, imagine this. You open your eyes, slowly, to the soft light of dawn. The ground beneath you is cold, stone, hard. The scent of smoke lingers in the air, sharp but earthy. Your breath catches, not because you're afraid, but because there isn't enough oxygen. The air is thin. You're high in the Andes Mountains now, far above the clouds. You sit up, disoriented. Your body aches. The walls around you are made of mud and stone. There is no glass, no bed, no softness, just silence until the bleating of a llama breaks through the morning stillness. Outside, the world is waking, a low hum of voices speaking a language you don't recognize. Quechua. You're not in your time anymore. You're not visiting. You're part of something strict, sacred, and immense. This is the Inca Empire, and you're expected to survive here, not just for a visit, but for a full day, doing as they do, eating what they eat, obeying their laws, honoring their gods. But you're not ready, because nothing here is familiar. Not the clothes, not the customs. Not even the sky looks the same. There's no sugar in your breakfast. No coffee, no privacy, no mercy. And while the Inca world is rich, stunning in its design, powerful in its unity, it is also unforgiving. You'll work until your hands blister. Bow to gods you don't understand. Sleep among strangers, and make choices that could cost you dearly. Why wouldn't you survive a single day? That's the journey we're taking tonight. Together, we'll walk quietly, slowly, through one day in the Inca Empire. We'll explore what it looked like, what it sounded like, and what it felt like deep in your chest when you realized you don't belong here. Along the way, you'll learn what daily life was truly like, how food, religion, labor, and punishment shaped every hour, and why this magnificent civilization, for all its achievements, was not built for the weak or the unprepared. You'll discover truths not found in textbooks, details they never taught in school, like how a single mistake could brand you for life, or how silence in the wrong moment could be seen as rebellion. So close your eyes, or leave them open. Settle into stillness. Let your thoughts drift backward, centuries, even millennia, because we're about to step into a world where the sun ruled all, where mountains whispered secrets, and where one wrong word might be your last. Let's walk through a single day and see why you might not make it to the next. Welcome to Boring History for Sleep. If you enjoy this journey into forgotten worlds, give this video a like and be sure to subscribe, because more quiet adventures are waiting. Now, let's begin. You wake slowly, consciousness drifting back as dawn light filters through a rough window carved into stone. The room is still, silent, except for your breath. But even your breath is louder here, echoing off walls made of thick, hot rock. It feels like a dream, yet it's real. You are high in the Andes, nearly 11,000 feet up. The air here is thin, cold, and fierce. You shift, and your elbow grazes the rough stone floor. It's hard under your skin, so cold it stings. No mattress, no carpets, no cushions. Only the earth itself, and a thin mat that barely separates your bones from the floor. You pull yourself up, limbs heavy, waking to ache. The air tastes sharp. Smoke, wood, cold stone. A small fire burned through the night in a corner of the room, leaving behind a lingering haze that clings to your throat and eyelashes. There was no chimney, no clear path for smoke. The room grew hazy before you slept, and remained so now, catching weak morning light in soft, gray bands. A woven rope forms your door, a curtain too stiff to close. Quietly, it scratches the wall as it drapes. The textile, coarse llama wool, rubs against your fingers. It's thick and rough, stiffened by cold and cheap dye. No softness here, no comfort. You sit up, lungs burning with cold air. You inhale slowly, painfully. Each breath stings your chest. Oxygen is sparse at this height. Your heart pounds. You pause. Try again. The second breath is just as sharp. Your body remembers only modern comfort. Air rich and warm. Spaces filled with gentle air conditioning. This is nothing like that. A sudden breeze flows under the curtain. It feels clinical. Slicing across your cheeks, you shiver. Muscles contract without warning. You wrap your arms around yourself, instinctively seeking warmth in your own body. You stand on unsteady legs. Mistakes feel heavier here. A simple movement turns into an effort. Each step needs purpose. Your head swirls with mild dizziness. You breathe in again. A slow cascade of air through frozen lungs. It doesn't stop the spinning. There is no bedside table, no phone, no glasses to restore focus. The floor is cooling as the fire dies. A smattering of sparks drift upward, but soon even they fade into the gray haze. The textiles around you, your tunic, a woven cloak, feel stiff and alien. The fibers scratch against your skin. You tug at them, straightening sleeves. They offer no comfort. You are aware of every rough thread, every tug of uneven weave. Nothing cradle-fitted, nothing familiar to hold. Your feet are cold. You stand, barefoot, toes pressing against the chill stone. Heat seeps out. Movement carries you forward. Maybe there is water somewhere. Maybe a basin, if you're lucky. But water is precious at this altitude. Most morning routines are quick and painful. Your eyes adjust to low light. Maze-like walls of earth and stone pass before you, rounded edges from centuries of sweat and fingers brushing. The ground slants unevenly, path worn by generations, subtle incline, cold pools and editing bends. You try waking muscles, neck rotates, head tilts, arms lean against stone. The movement contracts tired fibers. You feel last night's rough edges echoing into morning. You reach across for cloak, tightly woven, dark wool with loose ends. You wrap it around yourself. The coarse fabric offers a small barrier. It holds warmth, barely, but it feels necessary. You lean your cheek against the cloth. It presses like a father's arm, firm, still uncomfortable, still alien. The hearth remains cold. No embers glow. You shuffle forward under cloth toward the low window opening. Outside, you glimpse mountain ridges bathed in soft pink before sunrise. Andes, peaks punctuate sky. Wisps of cloud drift below. You catch a glimpse of altitude, a view no valley could provide. Air shifts again, colder still. You press lips together and cover your nose with cloak. You step up to the window, lean, breathe, let it sting. Feel the mountain's edge reach. Inside, somewhere in the courtyard beyond, a llama bleats. You hear a low, wild echo in the cold morning air. Primitive, yet welcoming. You tilt your head. The echo returns. This place has life. Life that you have woken to just moments ago. Pain flickers in chest. You inhale again. Blow out. Let the mountain's breath fill lung. Body trembles. You realize you've become the mountain's guest overnight. And in that is both wonder and threat. No door shuts you off. No walls insulate. No modern world shields you. The cold finds its way into every crevice. You breathe again, slowly, carefully. Muscles tightening, loosening, spine straightens. You step away from window, closing the curtain with a snap that seems too loud. You search the room for a basin, some bowl to wash hands. Your fingers trace cool stone, find nothing. You move to a small pile in corner, some cloth bundled tight. A servant's bundle? Yours? It smells of smoke and goats. More rough fabric. You unwrap it. Find maybe water inside clay jar? But clay feels dry, dusty. You shake it, quietly. No movement. Morning unfolds, with sparse amenities. You're reminded, comfort is a stranger here. Ease is earned in this height, in this air. Every action, standing, walking, breathing, demands attention. Every motion is significant. You anchor each breath. You feel your lungs expand. You slow. Lungs ache. But you begin, step by step, each breath strong, deliberate. You focus on them. Now, required necessary steps in this vast mountain world. Now, you step forward to find water, light, purpose. Air continues to pinch, but not deter. You breathe again, heavier, but determined. You must, you will, survive today. You step into the bright courtyard again. Light washes over stone, humming with morning activity. Instantly, you feel it, the weight of unseen eyes. They track not just your face, but your gait, your hands, the rise of your voice as you ask for water. You're different in every move you make, in every breath you take. The outsider's signs are visible. A llama herder pauses mid-step and ticks his tongue, shifting focus off his herd. Children stop their running game in a circle and sneak glances, whispering to each other. A pair of women pause by a clay trough, eyes drifting over the length of your coat. Bright fabric, imprinted patterns, colors they do not use. One nods toward the terraced fields above and sighs. The other shrugs, whispering to her companion. They see you, and they know you see them noticing. You cross the stone ground. You test your voice in Quechua, hoping to ask for water. The words come out heavy, unfamiliar. Yaku. Yaku? The vendor behind the trough freezes. His brows lift. He steps aside, offering a clay cup, nodding once. Yaku, he repeats, kindly, but slow. You nod. He turns back to his work. The others around you shift too. A farmer adjusting dry potato beside his pack, a weaver twisting yarn. Everyone watches silently. You fill your cup and drink. The water, feels cool on your tongue. You lift the cup in gratitude. They nod again, soft approval, but it's careful, measured, and still. Curiosity. As you step away, whispers ripple. Pecha, Rixichik, unknown words, but your ears register the hum. Disoriented, fascinated, amused. You swallow, find balance. You wander toward a bench shaded by a gnarled tree. Your boots, foreign, stiff, tap harshly on polished stone. Strong wood shavings fill the air, and yet your footsteps clatter oddly. A craftsman pauses, runs fingers through coarse leather apron, tilts head. A merchant rummages in clay jars and stiffens at your approach. You try again. Alan Punche. Good day. Your tongue falters. The merchant looks up. Surprise. A small crease of amusement. He replies slowly. Another pair, aligned on a worn bench, laugh quietly. They don't mimic. They don't welcome. They observe. Around you, Quechua weaves through morning air. Words bounce between stone walls and soft shadows. Inti, Kaipi, Tuta. You hear festival names. Kuimaremi, Pachamama, and struggle to pronounce them. You feel your mouth close too fast, breath too heavy. It's not just language, it's culture, unspoken practice. You're drowning in foreign syllables. At the market site, llamas kneel to load maize bales. Their soft grumbles echo. Merchants pitch deals. Hands open. Barter. One vendor lays coins in stone bowl. Speaks sharp. Quick. You stand still, holding dried fruits in hand. You step back, afraid of stealing a glance at forbidden goods. He glances at your unease and shrugs, a small signal that comfort may come your way. But still, it's a stranger's gesture. You reach to scratch your arm, an itch from linen cloak. You tug too high. The sleeve rides up. The cloth bunches near your elbow. A woman passing plucks at her own sleeve, smiles lightly at you. Weariness in her eyes. It's not harshness, just awareness that someone stands wrong in this place. You move on. A prayer circle gathers near temple base. They mold dough for sacrificial family offerings. Maize bread shapes, llama figurines. You approach. You hold your hands palm up. Instinctive gesture of respect. They stop, regarding you. Another pause, but your careful posture brings nods. They whisper, Alan Carme, well done. You inhale. You cannot answer, but you know you listened. Still, every step echoes difference. By midday, you've learned not to point with index finger, so you use both hands. An inch of diplomacy. Not to squat in corners, only sit cross-legged. You've learned to lower your voice in halls, not laugh too loud, not stare too long. You attempt repairs in breath, pausing between phrases, matching cadence. Your clothing sticks out. Layered fabrics, mismatched, but sturdy. You notice locals wrapping belts at hips, adjusting robes. You mimic, but tension still rides your shoulders. Their fashions whisper conformity. Yours shouts of distant cities, past borders. Sometimes you follow a group silently, trying to catch a chant or phrase. They pray to Apus, the mountain spirits. You whisper their names. Feel word edges on tongue. They nod in approval, just a flick, barely visible. You avoid the games in the plaza. They laugh as they pass. quick rhythm in warbles. You step aside. They glance, then return. You're politely absent. A youth, eyes bright, approaches and drops a feather. Bright bird wings. He arches a brow, asking for safe acceptance. You pick it up, soft and short. You bow low and place it on your head. A tempting sign. The group shifts, smiles broad. They laugh softly. April laughter hovers in heat, cooled by the shade above. That small gesture, bird feather on your head, makes a difference. The midday sun now warm. Stone bleeds heat. You stand under a tree alone. They accept presence, but still, you are present. Their quiet toleration that becomes a gentle kindness. As long as you remain quiet, you remain still. You swallow thirst and feeling of small victory. You practice the sounds again softly. You speak your name wrongly. They correct with a laugh. You bow. After morning hum, you step back to high stone wall. You find finger graffiti. Someone etched your foreign name in stone. Just your name. They matched your overwhelmed whisper with a mark, a claim, a step toward belonging. Not belonging completely, but shared space. You touch the etched letters. You breathe. They're back to Quechua. You step back, nod, start walking toward workshops, thoughts in quiet movement. Your voice still unsure, your steps still foreign, and yet slightly less so. You stand at the edge of the terraced fields, the warmth of the morning sun pressing gently against your skin. Behind you lies the noise of the plaza, vendors, llamas, children. But here, by the neatly laid stones, there is calm. This is land tended not by individuals, but by your elu, your assigned community unit. You feel its rhythm now, labor woven with obligation, identity bound to group. Day begins at dawn. You stir to the clear call of a man who steps onto a raised platform, probably an elder or Karaka, the Elu's voice for the empire. He wears cloth dyed deep red, carries a baton trimmed with feathers, a visible sign of authority. His morning address is firm but quiet, an invocation of the sun, God Inti, a prayer for fertile crops, a reminder that each person must work. No one here is free to remain idle. You listen, heart pacing. Your voice will soon answer duties, not of your own choosing. To belong to an Ailu here is to belong to everyone. If someone misses a day of work, on the fields, in the storehouses, building terraces, it's not just their loss. The group loses. So, rules are held close. They are shared pacts, cementing unity, cultural exchange, survival. You're given your role to help plant or repair the irrigation canal. Washi, a task simple in method, limitless in demand. Each person is given a few loaves of charqui and water for breakfast, enough to sustain but not to spoil. The work begins, digging earth, aligning stones, redirecting flow exactly to the last pacha, meter. Each person's job is important, and each person accountable. No exceptions are made. A pregnant mother may not rest until her labor share is complete. A tired child or elder is supported. Others step in, sharing labor. A sick person is cared for, but rest is rare. Illness slows the elu. and slowing is not tolerated beyond necessity. A person is either worked or worked for. Punishment lives nearby. You witness your first correction at midday. A man, struggling to lift a stone, accidentally drops it on another's hand. It is an accident, but rules say damage to a neighbor's labor must be paid. He bows, apologizes, offers half a load of his share. He stands in silence. The group murmurs acknowledgement. The Karaka gives no words. Balance is restored. No dispute, no trial. Simplicity rules. Broken rules are named quickly. You observe a man who disappears mid-shift. When he returns at dusk, you watch from miles away, but hear the reply, he must carry twice the load tomorrow. And when tomorrow comes, he carries 2 planks of stone, balancing on his shoulders until sweat and exhaustion blur his posture. No question asked, no speech required. Action corrects error. The morning drifts into midday. You're hungry. You uproot a handful of quinoa, then roast it beside a friend's fire. You pass a pot of mulu, dried fish sauce, across so slowly you feel part of this, part of creation. You belong to labor and land by trust, not by compass or coin. This belonging feels heavy, but honest. There are golden echoes of music. Musicians play, flutes and drums. They drift beside the work, giving rhythm to repetition. You think of songs you know, but none share this precise timing. This beat is methodical, a layered harmony of soul and duty. You notice cracks. In quiet moments, they show. A group rests at midday near the canal. A young woman rubs her calves. She's weary. Around her, the group chats. Voices low and respectful, but a joke about a loaded rock that rolled too far draws laughs echoing through stone. That laughter is permission. It is release. Yet you hear of greater burdens. A man once failed to carry his grain share to the communal storehouse by the deadline of the sun's zenith. He was forced to kneel and recite a prayer of apology through the fields at high sun, knees pressed into earth. His skin reddened, arms tired, but he never disobeyed again. The rules are more than a code. They shape society. Nobody questions why except the newcomers like you. Everyone else knows. The empire grew by obedience and precision. Terraces climb mountains in perfect arc. Road systems spread across valleys. Each road begins here, in your elu, in your shift, in your obedience. You close your eyes, listening to the water gliding through channels you partially helped build, whose gentle touch you tuned through stone. The smooth murmur soothes sweat and aching joints. When the Kuraka signals rest, everyone stands in line. Water and chicha are distributed. You notice who receives more or less. Some are given more due to age, due to illness. Everything is calculated. There is no rant or shriek here, only measured release. You begin working again. When the day cools, you shift to stone stacking. The wind carries sand, smudging your sweat. You steady each block. The sameness of work begins to teach you something. You are better serving group than pursuing self. Each stone rests on each other, and each person rests on each stone. You hear then that labor is not optional. It's essential. The empire expects strength, and justice expects compliance. Through hard work, they say, one gains pride. Through obedience, one gains reward. You watch people older than you labor with steady strength, wrinkles not only etched in skin, but woven into sweat-damp cloth. When a stone slips and dislodges, causing water to divert, someone rushes. They fix quickly. You watch as someone collapses against the wall, wiping mud from cheeks. Someone else stands by with water. No shame here, just humanity. No complaint, just action. Each shift ends at sunset. The Karaka announces end of day. You collapse near the canal bed, water still singing under cloth. You're muddy, you're exhausted, and you are part of it. At twilight, the Elu gathers. Words follow, praises, questions of water usage, discussion of repairs tomorrow. You listen. Though language is still foreign, the pattern is clear. Structure is safety, order is caring. They ask what went wrong. They devise solution together. Your thought drifts. Would you do this at home? Few would, but perhaps you'd admire the achievement. The stonework, the roads, those work terraced up mountains. Those hold towns and memory alike. None would stand alone, yet all stand tall. Night deepens. You remain in that twilight circle, where each person summons patience, each shoulder bears weight. You realize this is more than labor. This is identity. To belong is to commit. To descend is to shift the mountain. You inhale nighttime air, crisp, calm, unending. You feel in your bones the echo of rules, shaped not by force, but by consensus. Your mind carves its own rules now, guided by rhythm of labor, respect, and precision. You hardly notice how foreign you once felt when once unshaped fabric of outsiders. Fear was kneaded into rhythm of terraces, canals, work. You stand when the group finally dissolves. You follow slight paths carved in earth. It's time to perform other duties, storing tools, filling water, preparing for tomorrow. You carry your stone lantern under arm. Its flicker, a promise of order through darkness. You walk back through fields you helped mold. Each step echoes, work must continue, rule must remain. Empire, preserved stone by stone, dawn to dusk. You rise from the cold stone floor. The first light of dawn touching the high courtyard walls. The chill wraps around you like a rough cloak. Your stomach grumbles, morning hunger, stiff and silent. You make your way toward the communal hearth, where the day's breakfast is already underway, and immediately notice this place does not know sugar, doesn't know soft bread, doesn't know coffee. Instead, there are pots of bubbling water, simmering steam drifting in lazy curls. The scent is clean, but stark, unadorned. It reminds you, here, everything's about sustenance. Nothing is made for pleasure. Every morsel is survival. The pot is thick-walled clay, blackened on the bottom. A low flame glows beneath. You dip a chipped clay bowl and drink a mouthful of the clear, cold water. It rattles in your mouth, its mineral essence reminding you that even drinking is an act of endurance here. On a woven reed tray, before you are chunyo, thick, starchy slabs of freeze-dried potato. Their origins are miraculous. Potatoes left at night on Andean heights, frozen by frost and dried by sun. You break off a sliver. The texture is brittle yet sturdy. You place it between your teeth. At first it crunches, then grinds into dense starch, a dull taste, mud and earth. You swallow. No sweetness, just fuel. Next, a handful of toasted maize kernels, janka, pale yellow and dry. You chew them slowly. A sharp crack meets your molars. Each bite makes your jaw ache. But inside, a rough warmth begins to bloom. You swallow again and look across the courtyard at others doing the same. Their faces serious, silent. For them, this is normal. For you, foreign, unsettled. It's strange and raw. Someone hands you a small, cracked clay cup of chicha, a maize beer fermented with saliva and natural enzymes. The aroma is sour, mossy, surprising. You lift it gingerly to your lips. The liquid bubbles slightly as it meets your tongue. No hops, no sweetness, a sharp tang, followed by warmth. It feels more like medicine than drink, but you swallow. There is no lively chatter here, no laughter at creamer or pastry. Instead, low conversation drifts. Talk of fields and cattle, of terraces and weather, of Inti's favor and the day's work ahead. Every meal is brief, purposeful, no time for indulgence. A stew of quinoa appears in a second pot, tiny, rounded grains floating in thin broth. You scoop some into your bowl. Quinoa bursts behind your teeth. It tastes of sky, a slight bitterness, and starch that swells gently in your mouth. You swallow it, feeling a settled fullness that goes deeper than taste. It's nourishment, balancing warmth. You notice charqui, strips of dried llama leather meat, laid out on a flat stone slab, rough, rope-like, meant for longer journeys and highest exertion. Someone brings you a small strip. You bite it down, tearing fibers with your teeth. The flavor is dry, dusty, almost like bark. A quick taste of protein, but only a taste. You swallow again, as the same silent nod explains. It sustains. No butter, no salt, no honey, no cheese or fresh fruit. These are luxuries. Here, nutrition is hierarchy. Every pore of food planned for altitude work. High in carbs, enough protein, but no elegance, no sweetness. A clatter draws your attention. A bundle of fresh herb-infused water. Someone reached across, dropped a few mountain mint sprigs in the water. You taste that bowl. The aroma is sharp, but cleansing. You swallow slowly. For a moment, you relish that bright spark, then realize even that fizz of flavor is functional. It clears the mouth before a day on terraces. Nearby, a woman lifts a roasted kai, guinea pig, from a clay platter, small, roasted whole. It is more of a midday delight than breakfast, a protein treat for everyone to share later. But the scent is rich, smoky, and sends a jolt through your stomach. Even in morning, the reminder of tomorrow's meat stirs excitement. It's still fuel, but more desired than the routine starch. You look down at your bowl. The food is sparse. Every drop is measured. You hear a farmer talking of his quota. 2 loads of chonyo carried downhill to the Ailu storehouse today. You feel the weight of that quota as a physical weight pressing on your collarbones. On the edge of the courtyard, a healer woman blends powdered quinoa husks and water as a topical salve. You wonder about healing, about the interplay between nutrition and health. You realize here, every meal doubles as medicine, or might not, if famine or rust hits the terraces. The elder Kuraka arrives, his robe brilliant red and his staff of feathers gleaming. He strides through the courtyard, and everyone stands, bowing toward him. You do the same, nearly losing your bowl. He nods, approval for arriving before work. Food isn't just fuel, it's validation. State-sanctioned ritual. Eat, then labor. He speaks briefly. 2 lines of prayer, 1 nod to Inti, 1 to Pachamama. The meal ends. You watch as the clay bowl is rinsed in cold spring water and passed to the next person. Water is used, not wasted. Everything here is circular. Food, labor, water, ceremony. You swallow the last of your drink, let it simmer in your stomach like a steady flame. Breakfast is not about pleasure. It's about readiness. Your body is a tool. The food must feed the tool. Your bones seem to remember each grain, each starch, each shiver of altitude. A warmth begins there, even as outside air holds a chill. It's a different warmth than taste, but maybe deeper, the fuel of acceptance, of being permitted to stand. Here, others gather pots back to the hearth. You help, taking a small pot of water and setting it on the coals. As you do, you realize breakfast is the first test of survival here. Fuel is small, but purposeful. No room for fatigue, no space for comfort. Today, your body will ascend stone by stone, muscle by muscle. Breakfast may not fill you like a Western donut or a bagel and latte, but it's enough. It's enough if you eat fast, work hard, breathe slow, move in rhythm. Bucket of spring water is fetched. You wet your face, splash shoulders, no soap, stillness. Water beads on your skin, but no suds. You pat your chest with a cloth, cold, rough, used. You fold it and leave it. No vanity here, just readiness. A final sip from your bowl. You place it into the communal pile. You stand, stomach humming in readiness. You stretch muscles. Think of terraces, canals, stones. You step away from the hearth, leaving breakfast behind. But the sensation of survival remains, cool in your bones, purposeful in your breath. Today begins with food that sustains, but doesn't indulge. Your footsteps echo on stone as you head toward the meeting place, the Kuraka's staff overhead. Breakfast is over, but the day of work and life moves on. You join the crowd moving toward the plaza, following the steady rhythm of sandals on stone. The early sun is already sharp, painting the walls pale gold. Your stomach hums from breakfast, and muscles still ache from yesterday's labor. But there's no time to rest. Today is the day of the Mita, the mandatory labor tribute to the Empire. You've been called to join the work detail. A messenger arrives at the edge of your Elu's gathering. He wears cloth dyed deep red, carries a staff trimmed with feathers. Official, his gaze sweeps the group. He speaks only once, a few words in Quechua, measured and clear. Voices stir. Someone nods at your name. You step forward. Just like that, you're assigned to the road crew. Others are sent to build stone terraces along the slopes, your legs already jittering at the thought. Not everyone moves at once. People linger, hugging robes tighter, pulling straw hats down low. But you push forward, shoulders set. You walk toward men and women who head for a lower terrace. You belong. The tool is simple: a chakita, a wooden handle pickaxe with stone head. You grip it, heavy in your hand, corners worn smooth by years of use. You feel the weight shift, not just tool, but responsibility. You reach the worksite, a slope that angles steeply. Stone faces outcrop from earth. The air is warmer here, pressed between rising walls and terraces. The sun rises higher every minute. You lift your tool. You strike the stone. The pickaxe contacts rock, and you feel that harsh sting echo up your arm. Shivers of shock. You strike again. You chip out a fragment. Sweat beads on your forehead. The second blow meets bone. You stop for a moment, breath heaving. Nearby, terraces loom in perfect arcs. They will hold water and soil for crops. Lifeblood of the empire. People form human chains, passing stones. Others form ramp teams, sacks of earth, baskets of quarry debris. You join a chain, lifting a heavy sack. Stones tumble inside. You stagger, underweight. You pass it along. Your hands are white-knuckled, calloused. The sun is near noon already. Beams force air to shimmer. You wipe sweat with a rag. Water is scarce. A servant brings a small clay jar. You drink slowly. Tiny sips. Dust, tastes of stone and heat. Fuel is minimal, only enough to continue. No shade here. No tents or tarps. A charango plays somewhere distant. A quiet rhythm meant to steady heartbeats. You try to match pace. You breathe in time to those low strings. Your arm trembles. You lean on the tool handle. Small tremor eats through forearm. Others pass by, working slow as you. They don't slow. You join again, moving stone from ground to wall, shaping upward. Around you, the mountain air seems to weigh heavily on lungs. You inhale sharp. Altitude hits again. Your breath feels tight. You stop once more, pressing both hands on tool head, steadying. You lift your eyes up the slope. Terraces climb above you, curves stacked in pattern. The work is massive, but not hopeless. You take comfort in numbers. Someone near you sings softly. Kose, Kazai. Life. Keep going. You catch the rhythm. You dig. Time blurs. Morning feels swallowed by noon. Sweat seeps into clothes. Dust coats every surface. Faces shine. Eyelashes catch grit. Teeth taste grit. But you push on, step by step. Every strike matters. Each fragment will fill a gap. Every earth basket sustains soil above. You're aware, if you stop, if everyone stops, water may not arrive. Crops may fail. The empire may weaken. You're not just working for yourself. You're working for an ideal built into living stone. A rest is called at midday. The Caracas staff taps lightly. Everyone freezes. Breathing slows. You follow the rhythm. Inhale. Exhale. You wrap shoulders. Pull water to lips again. Your lips crack. You splash a little on the back of your neck. The cold trickles down spine. Someone offers pieces of charqui. You chew slowly. letting dried llama fibers soften. A simple meal, but enough for now. You hear laughter at a joke. Someone tripped in loose earth. The tension breaks for a moment. You smile, even though your stomach aches. The respite feels brief, but welcomed. The break ends. You line up. You grasp tool again. You hear song from before. Steady now. You swing, chunk, drop. You pack earth. You climb. By afternoon, the earth is dry. Ground shifts underfoot. You strap a second leather guard around hands. Blisters sting. Bands of red rise on your skin. The sun tilts west. Shadows grow long but do little to cool. You feel the day's weight in every fiber, yet the rhythm continues. Pickaxe, basket, carry, clap of stone, shuffle of dust. A drop of sweat falls to earth. It hisses on hot stone. You raise head, see your peers still working, still breathing. No one quits. No one loosens resolve. You don't want to, though your body might. The weight of empire is slow and constant. It presses into bones. Someone loads stones onto a mule. The once smooth flank carries bucked weight of one whole wall's worth. Your stones make part of that burden. They will be hauled across llamas and mules to other slopes, to courtyards, to temple foundations. You stop to adjust footing. Thigh quivers. A wave of dizziness rolls over you. Altitude meets sun meets exertion. You crouch, knees bent. You breathe deeply. Others do the same. One offers water again. You take it. Your throat feels coarse now. You speak, quietly, with difficulty. Alan Punche, good day. You try to return the sentiment, but there is no smile left. They nod, understanding without emotion. You rise again, placing jar aside. You lift tool. The slope demands more earth. You dig a trench. You scoop, then lay. You press stone. You tamp soil with foot. You pull earth gently around roots. Land will hold water now. Land will feed. Land will last. You shaped that. A small moment. A giant echo. Time no longer matters. The sun moves across mountain. Shadows bow before light. Again, but nothing changes. You work. Break comes again near afternoon's end. The Kuraka says few words. Sunset approaches. Tools drop. You flex muscles. Shoulders crack. Limbs protest, but you stand. Quiet, patient. A moment is taken to see the work. The wall curves upward. The earth behind it hums moisture. Terraces stretch. You are part of mountain mathematics. Every ridge, every pebble, every step. You walk to the base, feeling accomplishment and fatigue. You lean on tool, unaware of dust cloud rising from earth. Your throat replays dryness. You sip water again, letting the clay cup hang in hand. Workers filter away from sight. You shuffle behind. You hear hushed conversation. Temple rituals later. Communal meal. Offerings to mountain gods. After labor comes worship, then feasting. Rare, but sacred. You stretch limbs. You study feet, sandals or boots. Everything is weary. You press heel. Every crack in stone floor echoes your pain. You walk back slowly toward shelter. The road you worked on stretches ahead. Flagged stones now stable. You recall each step. Original slump, chiseling, aligning. Each stone you saw is now path. You breathed here. You struggled here. The Empire's breath flows through this road now. Travelers will walk on it. Your imprint remains. Night is approaching. Your skin is stained and sunburnt. Your hair sticks to sweat. Clothes stiff and dusty. You feel raw, but whole. You walk under softer light, past mountain songs and terraced glow. The Labor Day is over. Your tribute is paid. You realize roads and walls are not just infrastructure. They are stories of labor, of commitment, of unity. You contributed to something vast, vast beyond stones, beyond walls. Yet even fatigue cannot quiet the steady pulse in your bones. You carry it forward, your breath even, your legs slow but firm. You have offered your sweat. You have given muscles. You have joined a ritual older than your own understanding. Blessed or weary, your tool remains firm in hand. Work ends, but the day is not over. Water awaits. Ceremony awaits. Food awaits. But first, you carry forward. You step from terraced stone into the central plaza. The midday sun offers no refuge, its heat pressing down like a reminder of the power you're about to witness. Around you, cones of brightly dyed cloth hang off poles, their colors bold, ochre, cinnabar, white. They frame the plaza like guardians of ancient ceremony. The chatter of everyday life falls silent. This place isn't public now. It's sacred. A procession forms at the temple steps. Llamas are led forward, their bound feet tapping like soft warning. A single llama, tied by a golden cord, pauses at the base. Its fleece is clean, ungroomed for sacrifice. Men in white tunics carry coca leaves and golden idols. Women weave petals into braided strands. Their faces pale in purpose. The crowd hushes. You stand among them, foreign eyes cast down. Yet, just for a moment, hopes flicker. Maybe your silence will protect you. Maybe your presence will go unnoticed. But this is the Inca Empire, and here, religion is not silent. It is loud by absence of distraction. Participation is required. A young priest raises his arms. Congregation and crowd frozen in stillness. His voice carries a single phrase in sharp Quechua, Alin Cause Inti. To life, Inti. You repeat it softly, incorrectly. You try again. Others bend their heads a fraction, waiting. Your lips falter. They meet your edges, your broken vowels. They do not melt the silence here. They feel like colors that don't match. A bundle of coca leaves is passed through rows. Each person takes a small handful. You move your hands. Your fingers tremble. You don't know how much to take. Too much might be disrespect. Too little may show refusal. You palm the smallest bunch, brushing velvet powder from leaves. You press them briefly to your mouth. Leaves crack sweetly. You don't chew now. Later, perhaps. The priest chants prayers to Inti. A golden idol of the sun glints in his hand. The idol is small, disc-shaped, lightweight, yet regal. You feel the priest's eyes flick your way. He's not angry. He's assessing. He watches your quiet rebellion, your minimal devotion. He moves on, repeating words you don't understand. You bow your head, catching only cadence, not meaning. Drums enter, softly, ropes tying the ceremony together. The beat is calm, tensile, not celebratory, deep in the earth, in rhythm with your heart, shaping it to bow. Suddenly, a llama's eyes flick. The priest raises a blade. You hold your breath. The sacrifice is not feared. It's intended. Inti is majestic, insatiable in worship. You don't resist. Eyes closed. You breathe slow and steady as fleece parts from pasture. You feel something throb in your chest. A flash of regret, confusion. But ceremony demands focus. The priest sprinkles chia seeds in measured arcs. Everyone copies, draping grains across opened eyes, temple floors, raised drums. That act sanctifies stone and soul. Your hands tremble. You shake seeds across your eyes onto the black stone. Warmth presses behind your eyelids. Dust of corn and earth dries your lids. You blink, wiping away substance and tension. Above this all, the sun god Inti remains. He is fire chased across the sky. The priest raises up a small golden dish, hands shaking slightly. You sense gold's weight. This hot metal is sincerity, devotion. A hymn rises. Women hum in low rhyme. Men respond. Every voice is calm, measured. The song lingers without needing to peak. Fragrant smoke enters. At each corner of the plaza, small fires burn. Branches of eucalyptus, cedar, maize stalk. Smoke curls across faces. You step back and inhale. Aromas tingle on your tongue. Choice incense, choice meaning. Not everyone is included. You drink air already claimed. The crowd kneels. You kneel too, wincing as stone presses into knees. Legs numb, you shift but avoid. Attention. Your prayers form silently. Keep me alive. Let me belong, even for a day. A child steps forward to lay a woven bracelet at Inti's feet. The priest touches it with the idol. Then it's tied to a sun-warmed rope pole. He repeats a chant, song bridging generations. You try to hum along. You can't. The ceremony slows. The idol is replaced on a golden plinth. The llama's blood is collected in clay bowl, drains into earth, feels final. Inti accepts sacrifice with silent gravity. Next, golden idols circled around priest. Each idol depicts levels of empire: city, valley, mountain, clan. They say golden discs call sun to higher place. You keep eyes on clay feet of idols, not gold. Coca leaves are flung toward the sun. Then each person takes it again, then again. Ceremony embraces redundancy. No outsider escapes repetition. You repeat gestures you barely understand, but that is expected. The hymn reaches again. You stumble over phrases. Others listen over your shoulders, scanning consistency. You're watched. Your hands cradle coca leaves, now wet with saliva. You chew gently, pressing leaves between cheek and gum. Warm bitterness spreads along your taste buds. You can taste rituals, hierarchies, gods above mortal realm. There is no passing this moment in silence. It binds you to empire. An offering of chicha follows. A dam of bowls is passed. You sip again, amazingly stronger, earthy and smooth. You pass bowls onward silently, remembering gestures, not words. You nearly make clattering mistakes. Someone reaches. You hand over with reverence. You feel their eyes, soft yet insistent. A final prayer resounds. You bow deeply. Priest makes it plain. All must face toward sun at high angle. Sacred posture. You lift head. You shield eyes. Mouth open in awe or fear. Golden idol catches light. For a moment, it blinds. Silence resumes. Ceremony transforms to quiet vista. Paddies below, sun overhead, mountains framing. Temples stand calm. The work week overtakes ritual mind as people scatter. You remain on plaza, rubbing knees, mouth still stinging from coca tang. You realize you participated, less than sincere, but present. Enough. Others, clear ropes, fold cloth. The llama's fleece is carried away. The golden idol will be returned to temple at dusk. You watch each action as if broadcasting your acceptance. But inside, you feel a quiet divide. Your silence covered requisite ritual, but not devotion. Hands shake slightly. You swallow hard. You sip chicha again. Silence between tasks is new to you. A depth of ritual you still can't touch. But still, you lived it. You rise, leaving stones cold but sacred. You step back to life around temple. Work tasks whisper near stairs. Children absent, women gone. Sight resets. You carry the echo of ceremony in your chest. You're a step closer to belonging, or a step closer still to failure. Failure to replicate sincerity. But the day warps around a sacred heartbeat of empire, and you feel compelled, again and again, to bow, to repeat, to stand front of sun. You leave the plaza behind, heading toward the river at the valley's edge. The dust of the terraces clings to your feet, but anticipation runs through your limbs. You're thirsty, and you crave wash. In this dry Andean climate, water is precious. Clean water even more so. It is not a right. It is an offering. The river winds through the valley like a silver thread. Its banks are smooth stones, bleached by sun. But as you near its edge, you pause. This river feeds irrigation canals and quarries, carries waste from higher terraces, and spills into communal wash pits. It is the bloodstream of your alu, purposeful, communal, but it's never just water. It is ritual, risk, and necessity. You kneel at the bank, cup hands, and draw water. No shallow bowl. Your hands become the vessel. You lift your face, bring fingers to lips. The water is cold, striking, mineral heavy. You swallow greedily. Calm washes through you. But now your mind leans into caution. This river carries strength, but disease hides in its current. Villagers upstream wash vegetables. Behind you, some squat and relieve themselves against the bank. Distant laughter drifts. Children playing, men chatting in labor. But water mingles with all. The risk is constant. You wipe your hands on a rag of coarse wool. No soap exists for this benefit. Soap is luxury, unknown here. You can only do so much. You move forward, heading toward a communal bath pit, an enclosure of stone walls under open sky, stone benches inside. This is no public bath like Roman grandeur, no mollifying steam. This is everyday reset. Bathing is not luxury. It is ritual, a necessity for health, a sign of humanity. A family approaches. They carry clay jars and cloth, coarse, rough, and kneel in the shallow pit. You follow. Adults raise their robes, descend into waist-deep water. Cold jolts press into skin. The feel of water is sharp. They wash arms, splash water onto thighs, scooping under shoulders. Men start with face and chest, women with arms and hair, pulling the cloth over their head. You mimic, uneasy, but intent to belong. No soap. Instead, they rub clay dust against arms. The half-metallic grit removes grease and grime. It stings on open scratches. Skin reacts with heat. Fine lines of rub burn across cheeks. They smile, unfazed. It's routine. You continue. Water turns gray-green around your limbs. It whispers of wear and deed. You dare to wash your feet. Toenails filled with dust. You rub with thumb. Stone beneath feels slick. Every stroke, every dip feels like unwinding the day's labor. You notice a young girl beside you, her skin clean, tiny arms agile. She washes in silence, removing layers of dust. She picks echoing stones between toes. You learn technique, slow circular motions, tender dedication in absence of tools. Still no soap. You run your hand through hair. You dip lower again. Hair lacks lather, but glints with clean water. You pat lumps to guide. You feel colder as water begins to rebound onto cooler flesh. But each shiver brings relief. Between washings, villagers take clay jugs and rinse them in water. The water ripples through the pottery. They scrub rims with grass or cloth. They rinse wares for cooking. You help. Dip jug, rotate in water, hold under flow. They nod. You're useful. A half step beyond the wash pit is a deeper depression, a small plunge for cleaning clothes. Women drop woven cloth inside. The cloth is soaked and stomped underfoot. You mimic, lifting foot, crushing fabric. The water churns gray, with fibers of llama wool. Faces glisten with focus. You grasp edges of cloth and squeeze. Fiber, fiber, thread. Repeat. The swirl takes cloth in gentle current. You stand out of the pool to wring it. You press with both palms. Water cascades back into river. You feel a surprising calm in this shared practice. Nearby, children bathe in the shallows. They splash and laugh, unaware of risk. Their joy infects the moment. You relax despite awareness. They shake wet hair. Grit beads drip. You think, disease travels swiftly in play, but so does life. Still no soap, only ritual water, cloth, effort. You dip into the pit again. You rise, arms slick, face cleansed by practice. You realize something. This is intimacy, born of scarcity. Water is revered, coarsened by necessity. Bathing is ceremonial. You allow dust to fall away, human identity hidden under grit, emerging anew. Yet, risks linger. You chew coca leaves, an antidote, a folk remedy, a numbing solace. They wrap around tongue. Bitterness rolls across cheeks. Do they believe in medical strength? Or is this habit tied to ritual? You descend into the river's fast current. Later, in day, locals will fish, gather stones, collect plants. But now, sunrise bath over, you lean back on bath pit edge. Water drips from arms. You feel cleansed, but cautious. Under your tunic, skin tingles. A small cut on elbow stings at every robed movement. Infectious fear twists in your chest. You tap cloth. Clean. But cloth holds water, soil, potential pathogens. This valley boasts mountain-grown water, but isolation breeds its own risks. Wells exist at higher altitude, but leaching and nesting of rodents has sickened some. Visceral, tails, smallpox, stomach fevers, parasites, a sudden fever if food not boiled enough, or water left overnight. You watch firemen boil only vessels, not water itself. You rejoin villagers at an open pit used for human waste. The latrine, they stand discreetly to fed-in piles. Stepping stones cross. Smell is faint, carried by breeze. You don't gasp, only bow your head. You learn quick. Hold cloth over mouth. Breath emerges through nose. At noon, health workers, healers, arrive with clay bowls and herbs. They stand near water. They speak soothing words. They add mulu or quinoa husks to water. They believe it purifies. Others toss ground coca root into flasks. They donate sobriety. You help them stir. You feel the tang of bitter leaves on tongue. The ritual is subtle, limited sense of control against all possible danger. Yet people bring their sick relatives, wash wounds in river water, thought to heal with cold flow. A single spoonful of algarobina, carob, is given to children as immune tonic. You taste it, earth sweetness. It fills you with childhood sensing, warmer than the slopes. Even midday sun cannot bleach away every risk. But people adapt. They scoop river water, boil it, occasionally, though fuel is scarce. Boiled water is roasted, drier, but safer. It tastes flat, but better than lead from pipes or illness from cold. You learn to store water in clay flasks wrapped in ichu grass. The grass insulates, muffles shakes. You carry one jar now, cloth tied. A friend shows technique. Fill jar, paddle rows of cloth across rim to filter sediment, then boil if possible. You nod, absorb the knowledge. Warm dust from terraces lies on clothes. You head toward shelter, bathed, rinsed, carrying water jar. Each step you take crunches clean cloth. You feel boosted, confident, yet apprehensive. You know dangers hide in this valley's veins. Water tomorrow may cleanse again, or carry fever, or fail to fill the pot. But you cannot abstain. Your skin remembers the river's stroke. Your mouth remembers the taste of flow. Your heart holds the memory of ritual performed in cold stone. Bathing is not indulgence. It is ceremony. It is survival. It is a test of humility, of faith, in natural rhythms unseen, but deeply known. You climb the slope back to terraces. The jar clinks softly. You carry not just water, but caution, ritual, necessity. In this valley of altitude, clean water is not a given. It is earned. It is negotiated. It is alive. You pause on the steep path, hand pressed to your forehead. A wave of dizziness floods your senses. Light tilts around edges. Roots from the terrace squeeze beneath your feet. The altitude, the sun, the dust, it all presses in, relentless. A breath comes hard and ragged. Your throat feels dry, parched, like cracked earth. You taste grit. This is more than fatigue. It's a crisis, whispering through bone. Your knees tremble. You clutch at a stone wall for balance. A young healer, ragged cloak, tied looser than yours, kneels beside you. Her eyes hold calm. She presses hand to your wrist. You realize you're dehydrated. Your pulse thumps like a war drum. You try to speak. Maybe you mention dizziness. She murmurs something in Quechua, soft, melodic. She brings a ceramic jar of water, but strained through cloth. Tiny sediment settled at bottom. You drink. A trickle washes down. Not refreshment, but relief. She mixes herbs, lemony quinoa leaves, drinkable yet bitter. A handful of powdered roots is dropped into cool water. She chants softly, almost prayer-like. The air holds the hiss of the wind and her voice. You sip again. Roots slip like warmth into muscles. A pinch of salt? No. A pinch of coca root. You chew the paste. A slow burn across tongue. Mild relief in energy. Peppermint scent. She smiles gently. Ayurui, she says. To heal. You nod. A man appears, hobbling, arm bound to chest. You realize he's broken something yesterday at the terraces. A healer steps in with wooden splint and cloth. No metal, just hardwood, carved to fit forearm. He wraps it tight, knotting cloth with remarkable precision. A local applies paste of mud and herb to reduce swelling. A line of chant rises faintly. Inca medicine draws from the land. Quinoa husks, sweet pepper, eucalyptus leaves, fever-warding moss. Each plant holds ancient purpose, but no scalpel, no syringe, not yet. Still, ailments are treated with practicality and ritual. Like stone and thread, they weave community and care. Your pulse slows. Quinoa leaf brew warms your chest. You stand on hands to test. Your head steadies. But diseases lurk. News spreads in whispers. Fever in lower valleys. Smallpox brought from across oceans. Travelers brought sickness before gold or glory. You listen to murmurs. Coughing in villages. Cries in night. Panicked mothers. In some Alis, half the population is gone. Healer presses hands lightly to your chest. Respira lenta. Breathe slowly. She prays to Pachamama, then to Inti. She rubs oil along spine, herbs infused before sun, sesame and mint. Spine relaxes. Your breath deepens. Inca medical practice treats not just flesh, but duck. The spirit ritual complements remedy. Each herb must be summoned and revered. Water must come from sacred spring, if used for births or deaths. Mountain stones pressed to head can ease headaches. You feel the ritual pulling your edges back together, but exposure to outside diseases leaves open wounds. An Alu elder speaks quietly. Our ancestors were safe, trusting the earth. But the newcomers, dressed in wool and iron, brought death that air and altitude could not filter. You watch healers wear masks of woven leaves to protect themselves from coughs. Masks are simple, but intention matters. They speak when spirits of disease arrive. Body must be shielded. A tap of palm against cloth. A chant of Kila Inti, moon sun prayer. You witness it all, breathing through leaves and hope. You Remember the man with wood splint. Day before, his arm was bent wrong. Rain-soaked earth softened the fix. He winced, cried, and healers held his arm straight. When splint snuggles bone, they tie cloth. No plaster, no metal pins. He tries fist. Pain. Pain melts when he squeezes healer's hand. Healing. No record, no doctor-patient file. Just observation, repetition, community. You sit between them, absorbing murmurs from valley below. Children with fever, black spots on skin. Healers gather. They hold bowls with red clay and coca. They murmur in low voices. They dip fingers and sprinkle dust across foreheads. A soft wind carries powder into their eyes. Blessing, not blessing, not enough. The air changes. You realize danger exists here in plain sight, but healing flows too. People carry knowledge in roots, stones, chants. Your face grows hot again. A cough escapes. Dust chokes throat. Healer grips shoulder. Take leaves. She marinates eucalyptus in hot water. Steam rises. You inhale. Nasal passages open. Lungs expand. Her presence is steady, sure, yet disease persists. You hear rustle. Someone spoke of pus-filled boils in mouth, wounds that opened and stayed open. No antibiotics. They gather ichu grasses to wrap wounds, hoping dryness stops rot. Shivers rock your spine. Fever flickers. Skin flushes. A fever is a song sung in heat. Call and response. You feel every muscle sing back. I'm broken. But healers join hands above your head. Priest chants spiral into night breeze. Sun disappears. Then tool of incense glows at port. Smoke drifts across faces. Each breath is purification. Claim, prayer. Medicine is prayer. Prayer is medicine. When you wake, at dawn, head clearer. Quinoa bark tea on cold stones. Spicy, warming brew. Each sip pumps comfort. You walk in sun again. Still dizzy, but balanced. You see slaves with cough-lining roads. Their mounts smooth gravel. Lungs crack in morning air. Healers treat them too. Plantain root poultices pressed into back. They brace against trees. Eyes closed. Clutching bark. One old priest breathes heavily. His bones are thin. Night's fever left him pale. He holds a clay bowl of broth. You sip with him. It tastes of salt and herbs. Warm but skimpy. Enough to ease fire in throat. He gestures to mountains. They watch us. He dumps spoonful across ground. A libation to dead. To Pachamama. Death circles into life again. Sealed with prayer. You walk further upslope. Pour herbal yellow liquid on your feet. The mountain absorbs it. People around do the same. It's cleansing, symbolic, but also protective. Maybe microbes don't like sage. You realize far from ease, but also far from abandonment. Medicine is communal. Health is shared. Later, you see a mother cradle child. The baby screams with fever. Healers surround. They feed cooling water, leaf extract, into open mouth. They press fingers to wrists. They dance near body. You glimpse tears. They chant gently. Their tears move you. Medicine here is tied to grief. They share burdens. They share herbs. They share kindness. A man carries a heavy stone. He breaks sweat labored. You realize it's too heavy for his broken leg. They had splinted him yesterday. You ask. He nods. Bone is set. Pain remains. You offer water. He smiles through grit. You walk until sun sets, watching shadows draw lines around healers hunched over fires, mixing powders, lighting incense. You hear anxious whispers still, fear of spreading illness. Yet persistence lingers in those words. We fight. Night settles, and you feel your own earlier dizziness like memory. Bones ache less. You think maybe tomorrow will be better. You walk towards shelter, mind plotting steps. Chant softly by fire. Chew coca. Drink herbal water. You gather bundles of encrypted plants from healer's satchel. Cinchona bark. Coca leaf. Plantain root. You hold them with gentle hope. You shoulder medical responsibility. Only slightly, personally. There is no nurse, no doctor official. There are caregivers, priest healers, crisis managers. They will treat and pray, not prescribe death sentences. As the night deepens, you sit near embers. You rub healing salve behind ears. You whisper thanks in Quechua, the few words learned that sound right. And in dark, you drift on bed of igneous stone, murmurs of chants, and rustling herbs echoing in cave-like room. Your cheek touches cold cloth, your mind turning under moonlight. You do not feel cured. You feel held. The sun sinks behind jagged peaks. Shadows fall long and full. You leave the terrace where you labored today and walk toward the communal dwelling, your Elu's sharing shelter. Your bones ache. Every joint burns with slow protest. The altitude air has cooled again, sharper than you remember. Inside, the room is already full. Bodies lie pressed together on packed earth. It's a wide hall, walls of stone and loom-woven tapestries. But privacy has no place here. Fires burn low at the center, embers glowing in clay hearths, fuel for cooking and warmth. They flicker across open faces and tired eyes. You step in, cloak heavy on shoulders, scent of dust and sweat lingering on skin. You find a small space between a mother and her daughter. The girl's cheek is flushed from fever earlier. She tosses slightly, murmurs in sleep. You lie down slowly beside them. Your body touches earth. No mattress, no woven reed pad, naught but coarse blanket between you and floor. Smoke curls above. It clings to eyes, blurs outlines. You blink, trying to adjust. The fire's glow casts orange ribbons across ceiling beams. Fingers of light cross your body. Scenes shift with each smoked breath as people settle in. Neighbors returning from fields. Laborers coming down from temple fires. Children chasing chickens back in. The walls fill with sound. Hearths crackling. Bodies shifting. Soft whispers. Your nose stings. You plug it with sleeve, but soot still hugs lungs. A man near your feet coughs once, low and wet. No one reacts. It happens every night. You think of modern air, filtered, distant. Here, breath is communal, and of wood and stone. Your ears hear the soft shuffle of llama blankets dragged between sleeping spaces. Hooded animals slump, half curled, half standing in familiar confusion. No Barn separated here. Llama's breath fogs in cold air, mingles with smoke. You blink again. Part of you expected silence at night. Instead, life remains loud. Cold comes in shivers. The fire isn't enough to touch every corner. You tug your cloak tighter. Under blanket, shoulders tighten. You breathe slow and steady. Your back presses into uneven ground. The ache pulses. But loud would disturb, so you breathe through it. A thin lamp, a small clay bowl with oil, blinks softly near the entrance. It's low light, not bright, enough for eyes to find space, to avoid stepping on each other. You consider the modern comfort of lights, lamps that glow like mini moons, and realize here, darkness holds presence. You learn to navigate by memory and soft glow. Children cry, then stop. Adults shush them. Ash settles on hair and cloth. You run a finger through strands. You feel grit, warmth, community. You're one among many. A woman near your head hums a lullaby, Quechua words about mountain spirits guarding dreams. The tune is simple, repeating. It carries like a thread through warmth and smoke. The girl beside you settles deeper into sleep. You close your eyes. For a moment, comfort spreads through bones. A lullaby travels across bodies into your chest. Then someone shifts near your feet. Grandfather returns from latrine. His sandals clip softly across dirt floor. He coughs again. His cough rumbles and echoes. This is life. Not quiet, but alive. You may feel dizzy. It may not be restful, but it is raw and belonging. Your body is sore. You mutter a low hiss when your calf twists. You unconsciously shift knees. It grinds across earth. A breath shudders. No one notices. Even quiet bodies blend. You breathe, exhale, match their rhythm. Through night, others rise. A torch is lit. Someone warms water for tea. A woman coughs. Then again, a neighbor offers inhalation from herb bowl. No fanfare. Just life repairing itself. Breath mends itself. In this darkness, personal space dissolves. Feet touch. Hands graze. Blankets share silhouettes. You wake at smells. Smoke, llama, stew stone, human sweat. You breathe deeply, each breath soothed by detail. Every few hours, someone stirs. A modern eye would call restless, but here, it is breathing. You hear the young father stand to carry his baby outside. He mutters softly into moonlight. You feel safety is not absolute, but neither is solitude. You lie still and press heels into earth. Ground is steady, reassuring. Still, the cold bites. You recall sun, terrace sweat, midday labor. You tug cloak, drift into smaller muscles ache. You feather exhale. In the pre-dawn hour, the smoke has settled. Fire is a soft glow now. You peek open eyes. A mother breastfeeds her child under soft lamp. A father lies beside wife and children. No room for quiet, only presence. In this room, every breath registers. The space is full of life, and though it is crowded and smoky, you feel the hum of belonging. You feel witness to humanity. The night pressed close by walls, by earth, by shared warmth. Your mind drifts. You remember modern nights. Your padded mattress, regulated air, silence. Here, the floor is earth. The light is flame. The warmth is bodies pressed together, and life is nonetheless moving, persistent, communal. Your calf throbs, a knee aches, a rib aches, but you're surviving this night in discomfort and closeness, shoulder to shoulder, with strangers turned family in this valley. Silence never truly comes, not without risk here, not when life seeps through every pore. No mattress, no peace, no option, no privacy. But the night holds tenderness of crucible, shared breath pools alongside smoke, stories, fears, respect. You drift between wakefulness and slumber, sore, overwhelmed, alive. Each hiss of breath in this room confirms existence. Each movement confirms place. Your cloak loosens. You breathe deeper. The ant cradling child hums song again, higher now, sway of lullaby reborn. The baby smiles unconscious. You feel relief and despair melt together. In this cradle of fatigue and flame, the evening, and your place in it, unfolds quietly. Around you, you stand at the break of dawn, shadows lengthening on the plaza's stone. The first rays of sunlight touch your shoulder. You bow deeply to the curaca, patience, respect, but you bow too shallow. A flicker of eyes darts toward you in surprise. Their light is neither warm nor cruel, but unwavering. In the Inca world, every gesture speaks truth. Your bow betrays uncertainty. Your breath hitches. You rise, posture awkward. A hush falls over those already gathered. The curaca's gaze lingers long enough to weigh, but he says nothing. You breathe slow, unwillingly, aware of the mark already pressed into your name. Later, as you move among laborers toward the terraces, hands calloused and shoulders tight, you notice the way they glance at you, a pause in their stride, a muttered phrase in Quechua that drifts just past comprehension. Laziness, perhaps, lack of respect. You wonder. The sun climbs, and so do your fears. You drag stone across terrace beds, but your arm trembles with fatigue. You pause for a breath. The man next to you pauses too. He watches you, not with pity, but calculation. You straighten your back, nod, and continue. You work harder. You need to push harder. One wrong misstep, and chains follow. Lunchtime brings little comfort. You barter barley for a handful of chicha. The server's hand hesitates. You feel their eyes again, sharp, polite, waiting. You named the wrong measure. Instantly, they correct you. You swallow humbly, accepting the smaller portion. Even this exchange carries risk. They smile at you this time, pleased by your correction, but you taste the sting of loss, the difference between speaking correctly and being correct. The fatigue builds. As the hours pass, you carry sun-baked stone in woven baskets. You carry soil. You carry the weight of expectation. And still you carry fear of faltering. A sling snaps beneath your steps. The basket tilts. Smaller stones spill out. You crouch to scoop them. Others watch. No whisper escapes. But they judge. You swallow hard. You stay bent for longer, hearing stone drip against stone. Dust hangs in air around you. As the sun slants westward, fatigue burns like acid in your limbs. You break early for water, but thirst bites. You kneel by a canal, dip your hand, sip deeply. But your echoing pause fails to hide misjudgment. The guard by the canal watches you. He's silent, but unblinking. His presence is authority. You shrink under it. When work resumes, you lift stones again. Your foot falters slightly on uneven ground. Someone lets out a breath nearby, not loud, but audible. The echo hits you like a prick. A wrong step here is not forgiven. It is remembered. By the late afternoon, the shade grows long. Another choice looms. Walk the long way down, avoiding a steep section you're less familiar with, or follow your group. You follow. Near a corner, a loose shingle gives beneath your foot. You stumble, grab the wall, nearly lose the basket. You steady yourself. Stone shifts in the basket. You fix it, heart racing. Nearby, a voice, woman's, says something quietly. No words translate, but their tone is not kind. You walk on. Thighs burn. Shoulders shake. Sun begins setting. Back in the plaza, the curaca steps forward for evening announcements. You bow deeper, chest to thighs. It feels small. You wonder if it's enough. He mentions the day's slippage in terrace alignment. Some stones were uneven. Maintenance needed again. Nothing personal, but structure is vital. You think of the corner you stumbled. Could the misaligned stone be yours? He names no one, but discipline flows like water, external yet communal. The plaza clears. The crowd disperses. You walk home, barely speaking, a slip avoider in action. The night shelter is crowded. Fires glow, adding warmth, but also chiming reminder. There is no solitude here. You drift to sleep shallowly, every muscle taut. Night is restless. You shift, position to ease soreness. Your sleep dreams of faults, bowing incorrectly, trading numbers wrong, stumbling with stones, faltering in front of eyes. You wake at moments, breathe slow and deep, reminding yourself, breathe better, bow deeper, step lighter, speak precisely. The next morning, you rise, at earliest light. You line up before the curaca. You bow deeper yet. Your forehead nearly touches the ground. He grips his staff and nods. Enough. You exhale. Not because you're safe, but because you know they notice intention. They watch for commitment. You walk out to begin anew, but you walk quietly, every step measured, every word considered, every breath intentional, every bowed gesture rooted in humility. And while the fear of failure remains, you walk aware. One wrong step can fracture identity here, but one right step can begin to rebuild it. You stand before the curaca, again at dawn, sunlight filtering across the plaza's stone floor. Your knees bend, and you bow, this time deeply, intentionally, until your fingertips brush dust. Your forehead hovers just above the stone. You've practiced. The curaca's gaze meets you briefly, then shifts onward. For now, the fault is forgotten, but the burden remains. You've learned quickly that in the Inca Empire, a gesture carries weight. It is a language unto itself. Every tilt of the head, every stance, every shared glance. In this society, ritual is law. You intend nothing wrong. You only intend to belong. Yet the day begins, and with it, fresh trials. You head toward the terraces for quarry work. Each slab of stone is heavy. You lift it with an effort that hastens. Your heart, fatigue seeps into muscle, inviting hesitation. You remember yesterday's lash, 3 stinging lashes across your bare back, hot as molten iron. You still feel the hair-thin scars. Each step up the slope echoes those marks. Each stone you carry seems to weigh more. You pause to balance a load. The sun presses into your shoulders, unrelenting. You stumble, just a breath's hesitation. A basket tilts. Stones tumble like spilled coins. You crouch to rescue them, face hot, eyes burning. Others around you don't stop, but they notice. You sense awareness in the air, the flicker of concern, or maybe annoyance. One wrong step could mark you again. It's not about failure, it's about trust, and you don't want history repeating. You straighten, muscles shaking, and tighten your grip on the strap that holds the rocks. You adjust your stance and resume, each move deliberate. Move too quickly, and you risk imbalance. Too slow, and you risk being labeled slack. Every pace must be steady, every breath even. Lunch brings little respite. You barter barley for more chicha. The server hesitates. Again, you remember yesterday's misstep in measure. You stifle a flinch when he responds. He nods, serving you a smaller cup than you asked. And that's relief. You lift it with gratitude, acknowledging the correction. But the taste is bitter now, less sweet than it was. A reminder of small failures, still weighing on your throat. You finish lunch. A friend whispers softly, translate right next time. It's not harsh. It's not mocking. Just a reminder that forgiveness is finite. You smile quietly. You will translate right. You must. Back to labor. Heat rolls across the terrace in waves. Your legs tremble. You dig drainage channels, watching the line of stones take shape beneath your hands. Rhythm helps. Every stone spaced just so, every dip just right, or else water will not flow. Your mind hums with measurement. Stone at 12 paces, slope at 1 finger width. The empire counts on precision. There's no room for error. You count out steps, feel the breeze shift. You adjust and place your stone. It fits. A small victory, like a bow done right. But midday fatigue presses again into your chest. You wipe dust from your mouth, throat burning. You take a moment, leaning on your tool, watching others. One reaches for water, another wipes brow. Faces are steady, uncomplaining. You will match them. You return to work. A small stone lodged near your foot catches you. You stumble again. You correct in mid-step, but the misstep is registered. The whisper follows. Laziness. Again, though soft, you feel your pulse. Heart pounds, but you dare not slow. You continue. Slower, heavier, but forward. The Caracas evening speech arrives as you descend the terrace. You bow properly, like you practiced. This time he nods. That nod feels like entering a protected zone. But pride here is dangerous. You keep humility. At night, the shelter is warm with hearth fires and crowds. Children laugh. Elders hum lullabies. But your mind replays every pivot, every misstep. You lie awake, back aching, watching flicker of lamp on canvas walls. Every memory, every miscalculation loops. You focus on breath, Inhale, exhale, in, exhale, in, ex. Methodical, controlled. You anchor on breath. You remember the barter again. You rise. Even in darkness, you practice phrase softly, Alin Punche. Then, Yurak Mikui. You taste pronunciation on your tongue. Tomorrow's words must be correct. Tomorrow's barter must be flawless. You lay down again, silencing your brain with counting. 10 breaths. 10, 9, 8. Rhythms carry you towards something softer than sleep. Discipline, practice, forward. In the night, you stir once. You shift slightly. No more stumble. Sleep returns. It's thinner now, but deeper than last night. Dawn breaks. You rise early. You don't rush. You dress in silence, breathing intentionally. Muscles already awake. You walk to plaza. The morning hush is still fresh. You bow deeply, deeper than before. You taste reverie. You sweep your gaze across crowd. Kuraka meets your eyes again. He nods, friendlier this time, more settled. You hold still in that nod. Relief floods you, but you don't let pride claim you. You turn and walk toward the work site. You jog your feet across stone, steady pace. You feel control in each step, and though every breath of the day may build new burdens, for now, you have taken the first right step. You rise before dawn, muscles still heavy from yesterday's toil. The air is thin. Mist drifts across the plaza as you slip between guards at the city gate. The roads, stone pathways etched into the mountains, stretch before you, narrow and measured. There is no escape. Every stone you step upon has been laid by imperial hands. Every turn is watched. Every ridge conceals eyes. You doubt anyone would help you cross into the unknown valleys. You remember whispers of mules laden with llama wool and maize traveling along mountain passes. But those travelers are bound by contracts and patrols. There are no secret routes, no friendly bandits hiding behind rocks, no shepherds offering a saddle. Here, roads belong to the Empire, and so do all those who walk them. You pick your way onto the main route toward the eastern terraces. The guard, small sling-bearer with watchful eyes, checks your pace. He has seen you before. He notes your weight, your gait, not suspicious, not friendly, just vigilant. You match your stride and bow slightly. He nods back. You pass in silence. The road crosses, carved terraces, bridges of carved stone over gorges. Steps rise, fall, climb, climb again. You consider turning away, but where would you go? Each path loops back or leads to another checkpoint. Every pass hums with patrol, banners unfurled in dawn light, soldiers with spears and quiet faces. You press palms to sides, trying to melt into the stone. But you know, even the tunnels beneath terraces are patrolled. They keep clear vantage of retreat. You pause at a creek, waiting for the guard to pass. He moves on. You kneel, cupping icy water. You drink, hoping the chill dulls your mind. But it sharpens it. You trace memory of day you considered running. You remember how fast the guard's head snapped toward you. One look and you froze. You realized the Empire reads eyes like books. There is no cartography here, no maps handed to travelers. Resources go from center to center, not for outsiders. The only maps are measured in labor, routes where terraces rise, where grain moves, where llama caravans climb. You belong by labor now. Without labor, there is no passage. You walk on. A merchant pauses, wagons stacked with salt sacks. You step aside. He glances at your pouch, perhaps expecting coin. That second glance would have betrayed your outsider status, but nothing happens. You continue. He nods curtly. The road hum of traffic remains constant. No escape, just movement choreographed by empire. High above, tiers of observation built into slopes can spot your passing from far below. Spirals of flagpoles mark administrative posts. You learn those markers belonged to surveying units, recording travel, overseeing quotas. You carry stone, but the record holds your presence, metadata of sweat and blood logged into Empire's memory. You realize there are no maps because there is no privacy. Each path is logged by footprints, memory, gossip. You are passing through living history, not secret country. After mid-morning break, you cross a larger checkpoint. A curaka stands, reciting names, measuring quotas, checking compliance. You step forward. He looks at you, not with kindness, simply recognition, to mark you as authenticated. He ticks his list. You pass. You sense relief in his finger's touch, but not warmth. Crossing the checkpoint, another road branches off into a narrow pass. Wanderers might slip in there, but signs demand identification for crossing. Patrol. They ensure no one leaves without note, a name, a record. You swallow. By midday, your cloak feels heavier, not from cloth, but from visibility. The air seems to record your endurance. You wind down the pass and approach a small village. A few mud brick houses gathered around a flagpole. Terraced fields shimmer in the sun. You consider talking to someone, asking for water, but their eyes rise, shift, drop. They know what happens to those rumored to help outsiders. You swallow. Keep walking. A child stands on the terrace edge. She waves, but her grandmother grips her arm. She pulls her back. You smile. The child hesitates, but child's curiosity dissolves in authority. The Empire's fear travels small, but infinity. You climb back onto the road. Another checkpoint looms. Drum beats, chants, half-silenced prayers. The religious symbols speak of permanence. No traveler outruns divine observation. At sunset, you reach the end of your labor assignment. Another city gate leading you back. Exhausted, you cross under arch. You feel eyes behind stone, but inside walls, again, the system begins anew. Roads rejoin, quotas recalculated, names logged onto registry. You are a record. You are accounted for. You realize there is no way out, not through wilderness, not by bargaining, not through alliances. The Empire owns the map, the road, the memory. That night, lying in sleeping shelter, voices snore, animals lie close. But sleep doesn't come easy. Every road, every wall, every gate exists to keep travelers within imperial memory, to wrap them in structure, and to spell belong. Your mind drifts again to routes off-grid, legendary passages, to neighboring tribes. People say they exist, but only navigable by those born there, by those who memorize winding schedules, by those who know storms and avalanches. You are none. Emigration requires knowledge you don't hold, and even if you had, arguments follow. Allegiance, citizenship, loyalty. You don't belong. Not fully. Not here. Not elsewhere. You carry the ache of labor, the weight of hills, the sting of quarried stone. But within that ache lies truth. Existence matters less than authorizing presence. To walk the road controlled by the empire means leaving no footprints outside its gaze. Morning comes again, and you step forward onto stone. Quotas, reset. You bend and lift. You mark time in labor, in bowing, in measured speech, in steps on a path traced by authority. No secret route, no escape clause, only presence, labor, and the watchful empire. You pass once more through the checkpoint, your imprint renewed. You cross the sunlit road with purpose. You are marked, and for now, marked is all you can be, and so your day ends, not with comfort, but with survival. The stars above the Andes flicker like cold eyes. Far from the glowing comforts of modern life, there is no warm blanket, no gentle hum of a heater, just the chill air, the smoke still clinging to your skin, the sound of animals breathing in the dark. You lie on a hard floor, your body sore, your mind overwhelmed. But even through the exhaustion, you begin to understand this world was not cruel for the sake of cruelty. It was strong. It demanded strength. The Inca people, born and raised among the clouds, thrived here. They didn't merely endure this life. They built empires with it. Roads over mountains, terraces carved into stone, cities in the sky, and all of it without steel, without the wheel, without a written language, only discipline, devotion, and the collective will of a civilization built to last. But for an outsider like you, dropped into this world with no warning, no skills, no understanding, it is not survival, it is struggle. This wasn't your world. You didn't belong. And yet, for one day, you saw it. You walked their paths. You heard their voices. You felt their fire. And for all the hardship, all the confusion, their world was extraordinary. If you made it this far, thank you for staying with us on this quiet journey back in time. If this story carried you away, even for a moment, please give this video a like. It helps more than you know. And if you want more slow, strange, and dreamy histories to fall asleep to, subscribe to Boring History for Sleep. Ancient dreams are waiting. We'll see you again somewhere deep in the past